The illiterate of the 21st century. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn, said Alvin Toffler, who was an American businessman, futurist, and a writer. He also said that change is not merely necessary to life, it is life. Good morning, my dear fellow Toastmasters. I welcome you all for this Judges Training and Online Speech Contest Management Training Program. Before we proceed further, I would like to invite Toastmaster Satish Menon, who is Program Quality Director of District 120. Toastmaster Satish Menon, may I please request you to say a few words? Over to you.
Thank you very much. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, you are, Satish.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our second edition of the Judges Training and Contest Management Program of District 120 for Season 1. It is very heartening to note that we have 307 participants who have registered on a Sunday morning for the Judges Training Program and Contest Management session. That goes to show the intent and the passion that our members have in learning something new. Contests are the essence to every Toastmasters journey. It gives us a chance to compete. It gives us a chance to test our skills. It gives us a chance to see how much we have improved. And it gives us a sense of accomplishment. And that's why judging is very important in terms of a contest. As judges, each one of us basically decides who would go to the next level. And that is why it's so very important for judges to be very clear on how do you judge a person during a contest. Like they say in a normal court, where you go to a judge and say, there are no perceptions. Everything is based on data. Everything is based on evidence. And everything is based on what the rules say, which is true even for Toastmaster judging. Everything is based on how that individual performs on that particular day. Everything is based on the rules or the judge's checklist which is there. Everything is based on the marking which is given for each and every line item on that sheet. So our friendships, our perceptions don't come into the picture, which is why being a judge is very important. Knowing how to judge is very important. And that's what this session is going to be all about. Why this is even more so important is because of our contests happening online now, at least for maybe the next 1 or 2 months, max 3 months. We have taken into a new world of online. Earlier in the face-to-face contest, it was very easy for a lot of us to kind of sit around, look at how the contests are happening, how the contestants are giving their speeches, what is the audience reaction. In an online, all of that is taken away. So your judging has to be even more perfect. And you have to listen very carefully to what's happening. And our sessions today by DTM Rajiv and DTM Reena are surely going to kind of give you all the valuable tips and suggestions and education in terms of how to do a proper judging. Even in the terms of contest management, some of the contests are definitely going to be online. So there's a lot of learning that we need to do on how to conduct contest online. Even for Toastmasters International, it's been a revelation. Nobody thought in March that they would have to move the entire convention online and the entire semi-finals and finals online. But they did it. The adaptation was there. There's a lot of learnings that will come out due to that. But life doesn't stop, so we have to go ahead. And that's why these sessions are more important for us to learn what is the new normal and to adapt ourselves to it. Please attend these sessions with an open mind, because that is the first thing that a judge requires, an open mind. So attend it with an open mind. Ask all the questions that you want to ask. Don't assume anything. Second most important thing, as a judge, we should not assume things. So you should, even if it is the slightest doubt, stand up and ask in today's session. It is better to get your doubts clarified right now in front of experienced trainers rather than trying to go and figure it out later by yourself. And last but not the least, whatever you learn here, ensure that you go and take it and implement it in the right spirit and the right rules when you are called upon to judge in a contest. Happy learning, happy Toastmastering, happy judging, happy contest management. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Satish Menon, for sharing those valuable points. As Alvin Toffler mentioned, an organization which learns, unlearns, and relearns, an organization which can adapt itself to the changing environment is a learning organization. And I am sure all of us would agree with me if I say that Toastmasters International is truly a learning organization. Am I right in saying that? Hello? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. And Toastmasters Leadership Institute has been contributing in this wonderful endeavor. And let's begin our journey. The first segment is going to be Chief Judge and Online Speech Contest Management Training. To facilitate this session, we have a renowned Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Nambiar, who is our District Chief Judge. And distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Nambiar is a communications, leadership, public speaking, and motivational life coach. He has conducted several leadership and communication workshops for schools, colleges, and corporates. And he has also facilitated numerous outbound communication and leadership training programs for corporates and students. He has served as the area governor during 2012-2013 and division governor during 2014-2015 for Toastmasters International, District 82, India and Sri Lanka at that point in time. He has been conferred with the highest honor of Distinguished Toastmaster status not once but twice in the years 2013 and 2019. He is also the winner of Toastmasters International Table Topics Contest and the division level in the year 2016, and he is the winner of the Toastmasters International Speech Contest at the division level Rhetoric 2019 and first runner-up in the Toastmasters International Speech Contest at the division level Rhetoric 2020. Well, let me not be in between your learning and the facilitator. I'm so happy to invite you, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Nambiar, to take us in this learning journey. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Nambiar.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sai, and respected Program Quality Director Satish Menon to be here amongst his busy schedule. Toastmasters, welcome aboard to this Judges Training Program, the second session. We will be doing the Chief Judges Training as well as the contest management, but this time, as Satish Menon spoke about, we will be doing it how to do an online speech contest. I think so the last time around I just did a general contest management, but this time we'll be doing about the online speech contest management. The third segment will be the most important, the crux, that is the voting judges training to be done by distinguished Toastmaster Reena. All right, so let's get into this program of Chief Judges Training. Let's share my presentation. Right. Welcome once again to the Chief Judges Training. So let me first take you into the different types and levels of contests available to Toastmasters. Now, these are the different types and levels: the international speech, the humorous, evaluation, table topics. Apart from these four, we also have the Tall Tales contest as well as the video contest. Now the tall tales and the video we do not conduct in this part of the world, but these are the 4 contests we conduct as a district 120. Now the first 6 months we have 2 contests, which is humorous and evaluation, and then the next 6 months we have international speech and table topics. Now as a district we need to compulsorily conduct just 1 contest to be an active district, that is the international speech contest. Apart from that, these 3 contests, the humorous, evaluation and table topics, is optional, but we do conduct it for the benefit of our members, because I believe that contest is all about completing what you learned on the club stage. So remember, contest is all about completing, so please give it its due weightage. Now, how the international speech contest moves is it starts off from the club level, then it goes to the area level, then moves on to the division, then goes on to the district, then goes on to the regional quarterfinals, then the semi-finals, and then the World Championship of Public Speaking. Now, as long as the international speech contest is concerned, it comes till the district level, and then there is 1 contestant who will be selected. The video of that particular contestant will be sent to the region quarterfinals. Now, when we say region quarterfinals, we come under region 13, and under region 13, we have 10 districts under region 13, and we form district 120. From each district, 1 person's video, the winner's video, will be sent for this region quarterfinals. So that means there'll be 10 videos which will be going to the region quarterfinals. And from the region quarterfinals, 2 videos will be selected to go to the semi-finals. All right. Likewise, the Toastmasters International has 14 districts or 14 regions. All right. So they will be sending 14 into 2, 28 contestants for the semi-finals. And at the semi-finals, there will be 4 semi-finals of 7 each. And from those semi-finals, 8 contestants will be selected. 2 of each will be sent to the World Championship of Public Speaking. So 8 people will vie for the World Championship of Public Speaking 1, 2, 3. So remember, it's a big process in the international speech contest, right? Starting from the club and ending up with the WCPS. Now coming to the humorous evaluation and table topics, which is optional to be conducted, that we conduct, it starts off at the club level, goes on to the area, goes on to the division, and finally culminates at the district level. So humorous and evaluation will stop at the district level. So also will be table topics. So this is the bird's eye view about the international humorous evaluation and table topics contest. Now let me take you to the essentials which is needed for a contest. The first important person is the contest chair. Now under his guidance, he or she will make sure that the club contest, the area contest, division contest, and the district contest is conducted. He is the pivot. He will make sure that he has a team of his own to conduct that meeting. So in any contest, first person who is appointed is the contest chair. All right, so that is number 1. The next person is the contest masters. The contest chair will appoint 2 contest masters. That is, for example, if it is a humorous speech, you will have 1 contest master. If it is the evaluation contest, you'll have another contest master. So there will be 2 contest masters to run the contest. Basically to say each contest will have an MC who will know the rules and regulations, who will take the meeting to in its flow. So that is called the contest master. The next person, the essential, is the chief judge. Now, the chief judge is the person who will help the contest chair come with the winner's results. All right. So the chief judge is the person, like the contest chair, he will handle a team of judges. So the chief judge will make sure that he or she will appoint the quantum of judges which is necessary as per the rule book for the particular contest. All right, so that is about the voting judges. So the voting judges are the people who use the ballots to judge the contestant's speech and give their take on who is first, who is second, and who is third, and so forth. All right, so the chief judge does not have rights to do the voting. He will only conduct the contest for the voting judges. All right. And apart from that, you have a tiebreaker judge who will come into play whenever there is a tie between either 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 and vice versa. So for example, there are 8 contestants. If there is a tie between 1 to 8, then the tiebreaker judge's voting ballot will come into play to bring out the winners. So all will come under the chief judge. Then we have the timer So as Toastmasters International advocates, everything should be timed. For any speech, it is 5 to 7 minutes, except the evaluation, which is 2 to 3 minutes. So whether the contestant is coming within the ambit of 5 to 7 minutes, the timers, there will be 2 timers who will be noting down the contest details and then supplying the same to the chief judge. Then we have the tally counter. Now what the tally counter does is very simple. The voting judges will decide on who the 1, 2, 3 is. There are 5 judges. They will have 5 winners' results that will be given to the tally counters. The tally counters will tally. For example, if it is first place, it is 3 points, second place, it is 2 points, and third place, it is 1 point. So they will tally the votes and see who gets the maximum number of points and give the same to the chief judge, who happens to be the chief tally counter also. So we need 2 tally counters till the division level, and at the district level, you need 3 tally counters, right? And finally, you need the sergeant at arms who will make sure that in an online contest, whether people are there in the breakout room or all the contestants are inside, all the basic necessities needed for a contest is taken by the sergeant at arms. So this is the essentials for conducting a contest, right? From contest chair, contest master, chief judge, voting judges, tiebreaker judge, timer, tally counter, and sergeant at arms. Apart from this, you can also add on like things like hospitality chair, certificate writer. I mean, sky's the limit for number of people who can help in a contest. So these are the essentials of a contest. Now, coming to the chief judge per se, let us see what are the duties of the chief judge. Now, the duties of the chief judge are very simple. He or she appoints and advises the judges on how to go about the judging, appoints, gets the tally counters, advises the tally counters, timers, and the tie-breaking judge. All right. After that, the chief judge collects the time record sheet from the timers and the ballot from the tiebreaker judge. Now, the tiebreaker judge is always a secret judge. Only the chief judge will know about who the tiebreaker judge is all about. Nobody will know, right? That is what. Handles protests accordingly. In case there is a protest as per the rule 7 protest, the chief judge along with the other judges will handle the protests. That is one. Delivers the final list of winners to the contest chair at the end of the result. The chief judge will get the results 1, 2, 3 and hand over the winner's notification to the contest chair to be announced as who is the 1, 2 and 3. Finally, submits the winner's notification list. For example, if there are 10 contestants. In the previous point I said there will be 1, 2, 3 which will be given to the contest chair to be announced. But to go to the next level, there is something called the winner's notification sheet, where the chief judge has to grade them from 1 to 10 and give it to the next contest chair. All right, so that is what is called the winner's notification list. You can have a read. This is how it goes. Right. Now, adding to that, you have something like the chief judge works closely with the contest chair, because the chief judge has more knowledge in reading the rule book. So in case the contest chair has any issues, will fall to the chief judge and ask for any clarification. All right. Keeps voting judges at all levels anonymous as far as possible. All right. Keeps the tiebreaker judge identity a secret. Nobody will know except the chief judge. Even the tally counters will not know. All right. The results are announced correctly. Now the results are announced as the second runner-up, first runner-up, and the winner. In case there's a mismatch, for example, if the winner is announced as the second runner-up, it's vice versa, it's done wrongly. At that point of time, the chief judge will step in, or the tally counters will step in and say the order has been wrongly done. So results are announced. So these are the duties of a chief judge. Apart from that, there's one thing very important as voting judges. Please read. Choose judges who are eligible as per the eligibility factor, which I'll be showing you guys, and are aware of the code of ethics. There's something called a code of ethics, which is given in the ballot of the judges, which I'll show you now. This is the code of ethics. There are 3 pointers which needs to be looked into by each voting judge. All right, so read it in private and understand what it is. Right, so this is the code of ethics. So as a chief judge, during your briefing, you will ask the judges, have you read the judge's code of ethics? So make sure that you get a yes from everybody. All right. Now comes the tiebreaker judge. All right. Now the role of the tiebreaker judge is to break a tie, whether at first, second, third place, fourth place, fifth place, sixth place, seventh place, how many contestants are. If there is a tie, that will be done away with the tiebreakers judge's ballot. A tiebreaker judge should always be briefed in private. I would suggest, if the contest is on Monday, have a call with the tiebreaker judge in private over Zoom or in person if you can meet that particular person and brief the person. So let not anybody see that during the contest there is a briefing happening of the tiebreaker judge by the chief judge. The ballot of a tiebreaker judge may be handed over only to the chief judge. The tiebreaker judge ranks all contestants. Now the voting judge will only rank 1, 2 and 3. The tiebreaker judge, if there are 10 contestants, he has to rank 1 to 10. Very important, okay? Very important. The chief judge must take out and use the ballot of the tiebreaker judge only if 2 or more contestants are tied at any level. Mark my words, at any levels, take it out and then break the tie. You can have a read. So please see the, it is in red that the tiebreaker judge ranks all contestants. If you are made the tiebreaker judge, make sure that you don't just stop with 1, 2, 3, you go to the length of the contestants. All right. Now let us go to the, what are the criteria for a voting judge? All right. Let's go to the...
Okay, sorry, may I request everyone to please mute yourselves. One second. Yeah, you can unmute yourselves and continue, DTM Rajiv. Rajiv, you need to unmute yourselves because we muted everyone because there was some background noise.
Okay.
Sorry for that interruption.
No issues. All right. Now, what are the criteria for being a voting judge? Now, at the club level, there is no criteria. Or the only criteria is be a paid member of a club. All right. At the club level, to be a voting judge, be a paid member of a club. Right. And then if you go to the, if you want to be a judge, voting judge at the area, division and district, all you need to be a paid member for a minimum of 6 months. All right. So judges who are 3 months in a club can be a judge for a club. Whereas if you go for area, district or division or district, you need to be minimum paid member for 6 months. Apart from that, should have completed 6 CCs or 2 levels in pathways. That is for international speech. Understood? That is for international speech. So you have to be, should have completed 6 CCs or 2 levels in pathways. Sorry, I would like to correct myself. For any judge beyond the area, division, district should have completed 6 CCs or 2 levels in pathways. Keep that in mind. The ballot of a judge may be given only to the tally counters or to the chief judge. Okay, the voting judges can give it to the tally counter or to the chief judge. The judge must clearly rank 3 contestants in order. 1, 2, 3. Please don't mark just, okay, I like only two people. I will just mark 1, 2. I will leave the third person. If it is done, that ballot becomes void. And also make sure that you write your name and also sign on the ballot before passing it on to the ballot counters. All right. Ballots must be signed and properly filled. Should preferably have attended the district training program. What we are conducting now, if you can attend this, you will be preferred more as a voting judge by the chief judge who is going to select you in due course. All right. These are the few criteria. So these are the criteria. Make sure that as a chief judge, you follow this criteria in toto. Even at the club level, make sure that you use the criteria which is available for area, division and district as a good practice. All right. So that we can get better contestants out for the next level of contest. Right. Now coming to handling protests, this is something which happens when there is either plagiarism or when somebody quotes somebody, or that's a new insertion we just got. So while handling protests, these are the few things we need to see. Only contestants and judges are allowed to raise protests regarding a contestant's speech. All right. at many times I have been a chief judge, and I found that the audience will prompt the contestant to file a protest saying that I have heard this speech somewhere, so you go and protest also. All right. Make sure that you ask the contestant or the judge who's bringing in this protest that whether it is their protest or it has been pushed on to you by somebody else. So ask them to be straight on this place. Yeah. So must be brought to the attention of the contest chair or the chief judge before contests are announced. All right. Don't, after the contest results announced, please don't come and say that, you know, I have a protest. So once the results announced, the protest becomes, it does not hold good. All right. Now the grounds for disqualification are: 1, plagiarism. Second is a new insertion which is reference to another contestant's speech. Third is eligibility, whether that person is he fits into the bill of being a member in good standing of a club in good standing. And finally, we have timing. In case you go beyond less than 4 minutes 30 seconds in a humorous speech, or 7 minutes 30 seconds in a humorous speech, you are disqualified automatically. Or in evaluation, if you speak 1 minute 30 seconds less or above 3 minutes and 30 seconds, then you get disqualified. So these are the few ideas. And I'll come into plagiarism. All right. Now, rule book 4D1, page 8. Okay. Please make sure that you also read the rule book. Whatever I say, don't take it verbatim. Also go and read the rule book for your own understanding. Now, contestants must create their own speeches and each must be substantially original. Now, if you look at point D1, it says 25% or less of the speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or rephrasing another person's content. Any quoted, paraphrased, or referenced content must be so identified during the speech presentation. Now, for example, if the rule, as per the rule, if you have 100 words, 25 words can be taken from somewhere else, quoted, but the source from where you're taken should be specified. All right, very important. Make sure that you use 25% of content from outside, but make sure that you give the weightage from where you have taken. If Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, please don't say, as I would like to say, I have a dream, I have a dream. So make sure that you take that quote and you give the particular person its due weightage. So that is rule book 4D1. Now let's go to rule 4E. So new insertion, page 9. Contestants must not reference another contestant or a speech presented by another contestant from the platform at the same contest in which they are competing. Like for example, if contestant number 1 finishes a speech, or second, third, fourth, fifth speaker comes on stage and says, life is beautiful because as Rajiv Nambiar said, life is also beautiful, even I feel the same. The rule says, do not reference a person by saying that Rajiv Nambiar said, so I also feel the same. But you can always say life is beautiful as I feel it. But please do not reference anybody. Okay, that's what the rule 4E says. Must not reference another contestant. All right, this is a charging section. Now, what is the protest section? We will see. Now, look at the rule 7A, page 15. It says protests are limited to eligibility, originality. Eligibility is whether you're a paid member of a club in good standing. Originality is whether you're not plagiarized the entire speech, is less than 25%. Now, reference to another contestant's speech. So now you can raise a protest. All right, you can raise a protest. That is what the rule says. You can raise a protest like fifth contestant. I can make a protest saying the fifth contestant has taken my name and he's taken my content. So I would like to raise a protest. So this was a little confusing. So because what happens is most of the times, in case unintentionally somebody referenced somebody, then there's a protest raised. So what I did was I wrote to Toastmasters International asking for a clarification on this particular rule on reference to another contestant's speech, whether a judge or a chief judge can disqualify a contestant because he used to refers. Okay. So at that point of time, Toastmasters International replied to me. Please pay kind attention. Whoever is on, can you please
just a second, DTM Rajiv. Dear Toastmasters, may I request you to please keep your mics on mute. If you have to have some background conversation, it is disturbing the learning. It's my humble request. Sorry for the interruption once again, DTM Rajiv.
No issues, no issues. All right. So now coming to this, so just read it. You look at rule 4E. It clearly implicitly says that you must not reference or speech presented by a country you should not do from the same platform. It is very clear. But if you look at the rule 7A, it says you can raise a protest. But look at the reply of Toastmasters International. All right, here you go. Now, this is the reply to my letter asking them whether I can use referencing another contestant's speech to disqualify anybody. They have categorically replied, referencing another contestant is not ground for disqualification. This may be matter the judges take into consideration when voting, but they cannot disqualify a contestant for such a reason. So what I would infer from this is very simple. In case there is something called spontaneity, where contestant number 1 spoke about something, or contestant number 4 came and referred to it, and usually in a contest, when the referencing is made, the audience will start applauding, start laughing, they will be clapping and they'll be cheering that particular person. At this point of time, what Toastmasters International says is, since Rule 4E says do not reference anybody, that means, as per the reply, do not give that particular person extra marks for referencing, or also please do not lessen the marks if that particular Toastmaster has referenced somebody on stage. Allow them to reference, let the audience clap, let them clap and cheer, but as judges, please do not mark up or mark down that particular contestant. All right, so this is the inference I get from their reply. Right, this is what it is. And if you have any questions later on, I will take it on this particular thing. All right. Right. Now, how do you handle plagiarism? I believe a contestant judge raising the protest should give absolute and convincing evidence to the chief judge about plagiarism. Please do not allow people to come and say, I heard it there, I think I read it somewhere, or I heard 2 people speaking about it. They should give conclusive evidence that this person, this contestant has plagiarized. Without which, please do not take up the protest. Because when you take it up by hearsay, you will actually dent the, the image of a particular contestant. He will feel really bad about it. Unless you have enough information to ask him why did you do it, please do not take up the protest. All right, that is one. Then the contestant must be called to defend themselves before a decision is taken. So if you get conclusive evidence, call the contestant and ask this particular contestant along with the chief judge sitting there, see, this is what we have got. We found the same content is there in the YouTube or there in a particular website. We have seen it, we have the proof. Now, what are you going to say? It is beyond 25%. So give me your explanation. So ask that particular person. All right. So ask them for their explanation before taking any action. Then all the judges must discuss the charge together. All right. If there are 5 judges and if the contest, there is a protest, 5 judges should sit. The chief judge will only facilitate the discussion. He will not be part of that who should be disqualified or not. These 5 people should collectively come together and the majority of the voting judges should concur. All right, this is very important, I'm telling you. If there are 5 judges, there are 2 judges who say, okay, let us disqualify Rajiv Nambiar, and there are 2 judges who say, no, not necessary. It does not amount to plagiarism. And out of the 5, one person says, I am not sure whether to disqualify or not to disqualify. So I am neutral. At that point of time, the chief judge should not step in and say, let me call in the tiebreaker judge and let him give his view on the protest. The protest is handled by the chief judge and the voting judges. In case there are 2 people for yes and 2 people for no, the person who is neutral stays neutral. So there is basically a 50-50. So at that point of time, look at the rule. It says majority of the voting judges should concur. 7C says should concur. That means what? There is no majority. At that point of time, the chief judge will take a call by saying, since there is no majority to either to disqualify or to allow that person to be in the results, the benefit of doubt shall be given to the protestee. The person who is protested upon will be given the benefit of doubt and he will be allowed to continue. All right. This is very important as chief judge, as judges. The decision of the judges is final and cannot be disputed once the results are declared. Judges' discussion and the name of the contestants are to be kept highly confidential. All right. So here you go. The majority of the voting judges should concur. If there are 10 contestants, if there are 7, 3 plus 3 and 1 is neutral, On the other hand, if there are 5 judges and 3 people say, yes, let us disqualify, and 2 people say no, then you have a majority to disqualify. You can disqualify that particular contestant. All right. You can take that particular contestant's name off the ballots, whichever is coming. That is very important. Right. So these are the few things which you have, as a judge, chief judge, you have to look into, as well as chief judges. All right. Now, handling protests on the ground of eligibility. Now, on the grounds of eligibility, the matter should be preferably brought up before the contest starts to the contest chair. Kindly use the eligibility tracker, which is available if you log into the Toastmasters International website. If you go to Leadership Central, there is that eligibility tracker. Click onto it, and I will tell you how to go about it. Even if the results are declared, if the contestant is not eligible, the contestant will not be allowed to proceed to the next level. Now, for example, at the club level, a person is not a member, he wins. He goes to the area, he goes to the division, he goes to the district, he goes till the World Champion of Public Speaking finals. And on the day of the finals, they find that Rajiv Nambiar was not a member in good standing. On a particular date when the club contest was conducted, he will be disqualified, even though that has been subsequently rectified. So make sure that this is done. Okay, so at that point of time, the next place contestant or the winner's notification list will then represent the area district and goes on. So this is what the Leadership Central is all about. If you click onto the Leadership Central, you'll go to the eligibility assistant. And if you click onto the eligibility assistant, you'll go onto this, you load onto this page, which is, you can search for a member ID, type onto the member ID, last name. I did it for myself, check myself, and I said search, see what comes up. Now, if you look at it at the yellow, I have circled in yellow, it says last payment received October 2nd, 2019. So for example, if I had taken part in the club contest on October 1st, 2019 and won it, I was not an eligible member then to be a club contestant. So if I go till the World Championship and they find out on October 1st when the club contest happened, I was not a member, then I am disqualified right away. Okay, my example is right in front of you. And also see the club status, whether the club is in good standing. Yes, club on September 8, 2019, yes, completed February 26 also, we have club in good standing is 8 minimum members is required. All right, so all this needs to be done through the eligibility tracker. All right. Now, coming to the eligibility, again, contestants must be members of good standing of a club in good standing. So they should be paid members. A club should have 8 minimum members, should also have completed 6 CC projects or 2 levels in pathways for international speech contest alone. All right, for international speech contest alone, you have to complete 6 projects or 2 levels in pathways. Now, this criteria is very simple. As on 3/5/2018, everybody will come into the ambit of pathways. People who are members who have started their CC, that is competent communicator, the old legacy track, on 2/5/2018 are eligible for the 6 CC projects. Rest everybody comes under the 2 levels in the pathways of international. So make sure that this is also looked into. Right? Can compete in several club contests, but only one area contest. A person can be multiple members. He can have 10. He can have 10 membership. All right, he can have 10 membership. He can take part in all 10 clubs and come number 1 also. But he has to opt for which area he is going to take forward. He cannot go and take part in all the 10 areas. So make sure that this is very important. All right. Cannot be role players at the same contest. You cannot be a speaker as well as a contest chair or a timer at the same contest. All right. Just make sure that happens. Cannot be district officers or announced candidates. Now, for example, PQD, Toastmaster Satish Menon cannot take part in a club contest because he is a district officer. He's debarred from that as per the rules of the law. All right. Cannot present education sessions at the same contest. He should not be a participant as a contestant and also give educational sessions, which is very, very, please kindly check that is carried forward. Right. Now timings, the timing record sheets will indicate the timings. The record sheet must be signed by the 2 timers and handed over to the chief judge immediately after the contest. Please don't give to the tally counters. If there is a timing disqualification, the chief judge will withdraw the name from the list. It means that after the ballots are entered by the tally counters, when the results are ready to be announced, the chief judge will look at the timer sheet to see whether these people are qualified. If they're qualified, yes. Otherwise, if the person is disqualified on want of time, he'll be struck out, and the rest of the people will come into the running for 1, 2, 3, up to whatever it is. All right. The chief judge will announce the number of time disqualifications, but not name the contestants. When I say announce the number of time disqualifications, he will give the information to the chief, what do you call it, the contest chair to be announced. All right. They will say 1 disqualification or 2 disqualification, but please don't name the contestants. All right. Then you have the chief judge's checklist. Before the contest, appoints and briefs voting judges. Preferably, you need a minimum of 5 voting judges at the club level, at the area level. At the division and district, you need 7 voting judges, all right, minimum. And a tie-breaking judge, 1 tie-breaking judge. Provides each tally counter with a copy of the tally counters sheet. Conducts briefing for tally counters and timers, how it should be done, how it should be marked. Like, for example, if the timer is new, the chief judge will tell that particular person, whenever a person has a non-verbal or verbal start your timing. Like that briefing is done. Introduces the tally counters to the voting judges. Now, further, you have 5 discrete judges. They will be introduced to the tally counters so that the tally counters go discreetly and collect the voting ballots list from the individual judges. So that introduction is done by the chief judge. Now, the chief judge will get the list of contestants as per the speaking order and give it to the voting judges so that they enter the flow of the speakers. Review the judges' guide and ballot with the voting judges. Make sure that the speech contest rule book is read by all the voting judges. The certificate of eligibility and code of ethics is read and signed by the voting judges. Instruct voting judges to sit close to the contest area. Why? Because in case you're having a contest and suddenly there's a power failure or the mic fails, if you are either in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th row, you can at least get the words of the contest. In case you're sitting right behind, you will not be able to get. So the judge will advise the voting judges to sit at least 2nd, 3rd or 4th row. That is the best. Don't sit together clustered. Space yourself well. Okay. Right. Introduce the judges to the tally counters. Now, further on, collect the speech contest timer record sheet from the timers. Very important, keep it in mind. Collect the tie-breaking judge's ballot from the tiebreaker judge. Discreetly go and who the tiebreaker judge is, go collect it and put in your pocket. Resolve any eligibility, originality, etc. protests that may arise along with the voting judges. Oversee the counting process. See that all ballots are counted twice to ensure accuracy. Provide a list to the contest chair showing placement of all contestants. All right. A few documents which are required: voting and tiebreaker judges certificate of eligibility and code of ethics, ballot sheets, speaker certificate of eligibility and originality, speech contestant profile. If anybody wants to record their speech, get the video release form signed from them, tally counters sheet, timer speech contest, timer record sheet, and instruction for timers. Results form. Now, this is the form in which you will be giving the information to the contest chair about who came first, who came second, and who came third during the contest. And the notification of contest winners is, for example, as I told you, if you have 1 to 10 contestants, you will space them from 1 to 10. And this notification of contest winner will be provided to the contest chair of the next contest. All right. Most of the times you don't know who the contest chair is. At that point of time, you can send it to the contest chair of the area contest or like, for example, you can send it to the division director or the area director per se. All right. If it's from division to the district, you can send it directly to the district director if you don't know who it is, or you can send it to the PQD. But please maintain a copy of it. All right. Now, this is how a humorous contest ballot looks. These are the few things which you have, which Reena will be going in depth very soon. This is how the humorous speech contest judges guide and ballot looks. And this is what the judges will have after marking these particular pointers. All right, these pointers 1, 2, 3. If you have 5 contestants, you will speech development effectiveness. You will mark them accordingly, and who gets the maximum points, you will say who is 1, who is 2, and who is 3. All right. And then comes, and once this is done, make sure that you write who is number 1, who is number 2, number 3. Please sign, the sign of the judge should be there, and the name of the judge should be there. So I would advise you during the briefing, make sure that the voting judges sign the ballot below, as well as write their name prior hand. But don't write the 1, 2, 3. Only after the contest, make sure that you write the 1, 2, 3. All right. Many times I found this. I have made sure that the ballot has become void. They don't sign, they don't write their name. They just send the ballot to me. And second is, make sure that you place 1, 2, 3. Don't just place 1. I only like one person, so I will only mark one person. No, that ballot goes fut. Okay, so make sure you write, whether you like the person or not, make sure you write 1, 2, 3 with an open mind. All right, so that's very important. All right, now this is what I have tallied. See, now if for example, when you say, so when you say first place, the first person receives 3 points. When you say second place, he receives 2 points, and with the third place, he receives 1 point. All right. Now see how it is. Now judge 1, judge 2, judge 3, judge 4, judge 5. For example, there are five names: Mohan, Kumar, Satish, Rajesh, and Praveen. Please, when you write in the ballot sheet, in the tally counter sheet, do not name the person who the judge is. So mark them as judge 1, judge 2, judge 3, judge 4, judge 5. All right. So now judge 1, judge 2, judge 4. There are 5 contestants, A, B, C, D, and E. See how they have marked who judge 1 has given. Judge 1 has given winner to A, first runner up to C, second runner up E. Likewise, these judges have marked given their victory. Who is the first, who is the second, who is the third in their ballots. Okay. Treat each as their voting judges winners ballot. Now let's go to the next slide. Now this is a typical tally counter sheet. In this tally counter sheet, what you have to do is on the left hand side, write judge 1, judge 2, judge 3, judge 4, judge 5, and name of contestants A, B, C, D, and E. All right. Now what I want you people to do is, use this, and I want you to quickly tell me who is the winner, who is the runner, who is the second runner-up. Quickly. So for a winner, you get 3 points. For a first runner-up, you get 2 points. And for a second runner-up, you have 1 point. So this is how it is done. Right? Judge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Contestant name A, B, C, D, E. And mark. And tell me who is number 1, who is number 2, and number 3. Quickly, I give you 2 minutes.
Winner is D.
Sorry?
Winner is D. First runner-up is, if I am right, C. Second runner-up is C.
No, can you tally it? Like for example, you give marks A 3, then C gets 2 points, then E gets 1 point. Like that, you mark it and then total it and tell me who is the winner, who is the runner. So 5 judges have decided who the winners and runners are. The quantum, you should tally the marks and tell me who among these 5 people are the winners and runners and second runner-up. Quickly. You can use, this is the tally counter sheet. All right. Yeah. Quickly tell me.
I believe all are getting 6 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Everybody's getting 6 points?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, everyone getting
Except for C. Right? C is like 4 points.
Are you sure?
Everyone getting 6
Yeah,
points.
everyone is 6. Yeah, C has also.
Okay. So everybody is getting 6 points. Now what do we do? Who's the first, who's the second, who's the third, who's the fourth, and who's the fifth?
Tiebreaker.
Yes, we go to the tiebreaker judge. Thank you. Thank you so much. We go to the tiebreaker and see that how the tiebreaker judge has marked. This is the typical tiebreaker judge's sheet. Same upper sheet, but look at the marking. Right from first place to the 10th place. If you have more than 10 contestants, you create always a semi-finals and make sure that it is between 10. All right, within 10. So this is how it marks. Just see how the humorous tiebreaker judge has particularly marked. Now, who's the first, who's the second, who's the third, who's the fifth, fourth and fifth?
First is
In
See.
that same order.
Yes.
It-
So this is the
it-
same order. All right.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes.
Same
This
order.
is the same order. This is how the tiebreaker judge will break the tie. Whenever there is a tie, for example, all right, for example, let's say if A and C are tied, all right, for example, A and C are tied for the first position. At that point of time, let us use the tiebreaker judge ballot and tell me who is the first winner. A and C are tied.
C.
Yes. So C becomes first, A becomes second, and D becomes third. Have you got this right? You understood this concept?
Yes, sir.
Right. Fantastic. Very good. Because most of the times during the tally counter, we will definitely have these issues. So this is the first place. C, D, A, B, and E. So tiebreakers judges sheet is very important when there is a, see, for example, fourth and fifth place also there is a tie. So the tiebreakers judges sheet I've broken and made them who's the fourth, who's the fifth. All right. Now, once the results have been received, you will have something called the results for a form where you will say whether there is time disqualifications. If it is yes, you will tick yes. If it is no, you will tick no. And then you will give them in the reverse order who's the third place, who's the second place, who's the first place. Now in this place, who's the third place? A. So you'll write A on top, then you'll go to second place, you'll write D, and then finally you'll come to first place, isn't it? So this is how you will give this sheet to the contest chair. This contest chair will receive it and we'll go and announce it when the time comes about who came third, who came second, and who came first. This is a result form which is necessary to be handed over by the chief judge to the contest chair. Right. Now this is a notification of winners list which you have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to enter it, get the details of all the members of the winners members, club number, email address, submitted by Rajiv Nambiar, chief judge, mobile number, and keep this in handy. Scan it and keep when you find that who is the contest chair of the next contest, or send it to the area director or the division director or to the district director or PQD. All right. So making sure that you have a copy of it anytime they have asked it for. So this is what it is. Now, disclosure of results is very important. The chief judge and the tally counter should not reveal the results before the time comes. Whoever asks, whether it is the international director or the president who comes and says, I am the international president, give me the results, I want to know. No. You are the sole authority and nobody can ask you to disclose the results before the time comes. You can only give it to the contest chair of the contest. Okay, do not encourage anybody to come and ask you the results and disclose it before the results come out. That is not right. Okay. Even if the district chief judge comes and tells you, I am the district chief judge, give me, I want to see the result. Just say, no, it is not allowed. All right. Make sure that happens. Now, this is with effect from 2018-19. All right. In contest, this is a little bit of confusion happens with chief judges. That is why I brought this out. In contest with 3 or more participants, for example, if in humorous speech you have only 3 contestants, a third place winner, a second place winner, and a first place winner will be announced. Winners will be announced in the reverse order. Second runner-up, first runner-up, winner. Okay, you just need minimum of 3 contestants to have a third place, a second place, a first place. Now what happens when you have only less than 3? Say for example, you only have 2 contestants. What happens is a second place winner if applicable. That means if that particular contestant who is second place does not have any protests or is not exceeded the time, then you can announce a second place winner as well as first place winner. Right. Now what happened? This is from 1819. Now from 1718 up till 1718, this was the dictum in the rule book. It says contest with 5 or more participants. Only with 5 or more participants, a third place winner, a second place winner, and a first place winner will be announced. Okay, this is up till 1718. I want you to know how it moved from the new rule. Okay, in contest with 4 or few participants, a second place winner and a first place winner will be announced. First it was 5, then only you can announce 3. If you have 4, then only you can announce 2. Now it is totally changed. It says you just need 3 to announce 1, 2, 3, and you just need 2 to announce 1 and 2. So as judges, as chief judge, make sure that you follow those in toto. All right. From 2018 till date, there's no change. Good practice. Now, in case if a contestant is signed out due to a power cut or internet failure, I would suggest if a humorous contestant, say for example, contestant number 3 is speaking and suddenly 2 minutes, 30 seconds, his video goes or his internet goes bang, the contest chair will stop the contest, will give 2 minutes time for the next contestant to be ready and call that particular contestant to give his or her speech. Now the third contestant will be given a chance right at the end. After say 5 contestants are over, there are only 5 contestants, he will come again and give his speech, which will be judged by the voting judges, all right, for the humor contest. In case of the evaluation contest, if contestant number 3 is giving his or her evaluation and the power goes off or the internet goes fut, at that point of time, the contest chair or the chief judge shall stop the contest, allow the contestant number 3 to come back online, check the audio, check the video, check the internet connectivity, and begin all over again. All right, please follow this practice because we are new to online contests. And as the mission of Toastmasters, let's be mutually supportive environment to all the contestants. Okay? That's very important. Right. Now, these are the few additional resources we have where you can go and check out. Speech contest tutorials are there. Please, I humbly suggest you to go and check all these extra resources so that you get better understanding of what it is all about. All right. So thank you so much. Now this is in a bird's eye view about chief judging. I can take 1 or 2 questions because I have to get into the next online contest management. Yes.
So DTM Rajiv, already
Yes.
people have posted a couple of questions on the chat box. So let me quickly share them with you.
Can you just read it out?
Yeah, I'm going to read it out.
Yeah.
Satya from Dynamic Leaders Forum Toastmasters Club asks, does the chief judge tell everyone who is the tiebreaker judge,
No.
or does it remain a secret till there is a tie?
That even during a secret, nobody will know who the tiebreaker judge is. Only the ballot will be in their hand.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for
thank you.
example, Sai is the tiebreaker judge, and there is a, like for example, we found that 5 people at 6 points. At that point of time, I will put my hand in my pocket and I'll tell that tally counters, this is the tiebreaker judge, but I will not tell them who it is. And I will only show them the results, who broke the results. Okay.
Okay. The next question is from Toastmaster Gokul Narayanan of Walkie Talkie Nangalanur Toastmasters Club. And the question is, in the online setting, how the voting judges will sign?
I think so. There is a fillable PDF sheet also available. I would suggest,
Editable.
yeah, editable. I would suggest you to just write your name on both sides. Don't have to, show your prowess as a good signature artist. Just write your name. Say Rajiv Nambiar, both sides, and just give it. Simple as that. Don't have to sign. When I say sign, your name should be there. That is all. Let us not be too rigid about, we have to follow these things, because in person, yes, you have to sign. Even then, I've seen a lot of people just write their name and give. I cannot go and tell them. If they tell, this is my signature, what can I do? I cannot do much. So, yes, Gokul, I hope I have answered you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rajiv, thank you.
Yeah, most welcome.
Yeah. And the next question is from Brito Pradeep of Alpha Toastmasters Club.
Yes, Brito.
And his question is, how ballot collection is done in online meetings?
Yeah, in online meetings, I would suggest you people to have a separate group, a messenger. Maybe in WhatsApp, you have the judges can send it to the particular ballot counter. Now, for example, I am a voting judge. Sai is my ballot counter. I get to know what is Sai's WhatsApp number, and once I finish, I will take a shot of it and I will send it to Sai.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
I will send it to Sai. And for example, there are 6 judges. There are 2 ballot counters. One ballot counter will get 3 voting judges' ballots, and that will be taken, and they will go into a group where the chief judge is sitting, and they will discuss that.
Okay. Thank you. And Chandini from Verizon Olympia Chennai Toastmasters Club. Her question is, would all these forms need to be shared between different role players in the online format as well?
Forms in the sense, what kind of forms?
So Chandini, can you please clarify this question of yours?
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Chandni here. Regarding to the ballot, so for in my club for local contest, what we did was we had prepared Google Sheets in which we gave specific access to different judges, and we asked them to, mark their scores over Google Sheets. So it would be that each judge would have specific access to their forms only and cannot
Yeah,
check.
what I would say is that we should follow the Toastmaster International Judges Ballot.
Okay.
All right.
So it should be only in that PDF format.
Yes,
or,
yes. Very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Mahesh, do we have time, Mahesh?
No, Sai, just move.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I have received the questions in the chat box, DTM Rajiv.
Okay.
I'll make a note of it and I'll share them with you with the names of the person.
Any unique question from that? I can just immediately shoot into
okay. Okay. I won't be able to decide which is because there are quite a few.
Anything on protests or something like that?
Okay. I'm just checking. I'm not seeing anything specific to protests.
There is a protest related one. If
there is a protest. Okay, Manju K. Manohar from Oceans. I'm not able to read the full name. The question is, if there is a protest, should we involve the tiebreaker judge or we should involve only the other judges?
DTM Manju, the process is very simple. The moment the protest comes in from a judge or a contestant, the contestant is called and asked for an explanation. If it is not satisfactory, at that point of time, the chief judge will summon the voting judges alone. The tiebreaker judge will not form a part of it because he is not a voting judge. He's only a tie-breaking judge.
Okay, thank you so much, DTM Rajiv Nambiar. What I would suggest to all the Toastmasters who still have questions, you are seeing on the visual aid DTM Rajiv Nambiar's email address. So please feel free to write your questions to him so that he'll be getting back to you. Is that fine with you?
Yes, you can also contact me in WhatsApp. That's my WhatsApp number. I'm always available.
Okay, sure.
Right.
Sure.
Anybody,
So,
please feel free. As Satish Menon said, please ask questions. Do not keep it that everything is understood.
Just in.
And your asking questions can also open my way of thinking of looking at things differently. So make sure you help me also in that stead.
That's wonderful, DTM Rajiv. And please make a note of the coordinates of DTM Rajiv Nambiar, and please do write to him and get in touch with him. So thank you so much, DTM Rajiv Nambiar. So that was very, very insightful. That gave a lot of inputs on how do we need to manage the judges training program. Helped us to understand how we manage the contest. And I am now through the chat box sharing the feedback of Rajiv's session. Rajiv, now are you going to take up the online?
Yes. I'm just next.
Okay, so we can send it together after that.
Yes.
So if that is the case, you can continue, DTM Rajiv.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Right. Let's next get into the online speech management. All right. Online speech contest management. Now, to be very frank, we are all in gray areas. It's all in teething areas. So what I put across with the help of a lot of material available in the Toastmasters website, I've come to this presentation. Now, the essentials is that you need the current rule book. Please read the rule book of the current, which is July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. It is, I would say it is mandatory for every Toastmaster to go through the rule book as a contestant, as a judge, as a chief judge. All right. Please read it. It will open up your way of thinking towards contest. So we are going to conduct humorous speech and evaluation immediately. International speech and table topics will come the next 6 months. All right. Right. Now, as I said, the role players, we need a contest chair. For every contest, we need 2 contest masters. We need a chief judge. We need voting judges, which is 5 minimum, maximum, whatever a chief judge can handle. And for the division and district level, you need 7 voting judges. Then every contest, you need 1 vote tiebreaker judge. Timers are 2. Tally counters are 2 till the division level. At the district level, you need 3 tally counters. All right. Sergeant at arms, minimum 3, maximum how much the contest chair can manage. Now, let me come to this Let's look into preparation and technology. Now, the first point, as I told, is familiarize. When I say familiarize, it means familiarize yourselves with the platform ahead of the contest. What is the platform you're going to use? Whether you're going to use Zoom, whether you're going to use Teams, or you're going to use WebEx or XYZ. Now, I would advise you people to is whatever platform you are taking forward during your club meetings, make sure that even during the contest, you carry forward that platform. If you're going through WebEx, if somebody says Zoom is good, don't run up and take Zoom just for the contest. All right. If you're doing it, make sure that you create a moderator position, meeting moderator position, who is responsible for setting up the meeting and handling all of the technology, a person who knows threadbare about the platform. So make sure you have one person as called the meeting moderator. Then you can also pick the speaking order by using the wheelsofnames.com. Few clubs have started using it. It's quite effective. Please check this website. Necessary forms to contestants and contest officials in advance. Make sure that the contest forms are sent to these contest officials and the contestants in advance and collected back, not on the day of the contest, but at least 1 day or 2 days prior to the contest happens. Okay, because it's online, don't wait for the last moment. Have the judges sign and submit the judges' certification of eligibility and code of ethics ahead of your contest, again 24 to 48 hours before. Contestants must sign the speaker certification of eligibility and originality ahead of your contest. Do not wait till the last moment. If your contest is on Saturday, don't wait for on Saturday to receive all these. Make sure you do it by Thursday or Friday to be more prepared. Do the eligibility check on each contestant to confirm that they are eligible to compete. Also ensure that the contestants have fulfilled the education requirements, if any, to participate in the speech contest. Arrive early. Make sure that all contestants and role players arrive at least 60 minutes before the online contest begin. All right, for troubleshooting, etc. Technology setup. Also ask the audience to come 15 to 30 minutes in advance. Because I would suggest that once the contest begins, when the contest speaker is on stage and delivering a speech, please do not allow people to come inside. Put them in the waiting room. All right. Please do not allow to come unless just like a normal contest, when the contest is happening, the doors are shut. Right. Likewise, when the speaker is speaking, the meeting is shut for these people. All right. Ask them to arrive early. Yeah. If you're using webcams of judges need to remain off during the entire contest in order to maintain anonymity. Don't put the judges on the spotlight, please. If you know who the judges are, don't show them on the spotlight. Make sure that the judges, when they come inside, they switch off their cameras, as well as they mute themselves. Before the contest begins, have the moderator ensure that all contestants and contest officials are present. Okay, before the contest begins, like in-person contest, the contest chair will look around whether all the contestants are on the hall. Likewise, make sure that all the contestants are in the meeting room when the contest is begun. Otherwise, that particular contestant will be disqualified. Also, for all contest officials, if possible, it is recommended they have a primary device and a backup device. I would suggest you to have the primary device as your laptop and a secondary device with a data pack as your secondary device. Or if you have two Wi-Fis at home, log in with both. In case one fails, one is available. All right. Contestants and contest officials may be shown on camera during the contest. These two people can be shown. If you use breakout rooms during your contest for evaluation contestants, ballot counting, or protest, make sure that the platform keeps the communication in the breakout rooms anonymous. It should not be everybody can walk in and see what is happening inside. Only regulated people can be sent inside. If you choose to leave the chat function on during the contest, you may want to designate a team member to moderate the chat. Otherwise, what will happen is as the speaker is speaking, one person will get inside the meeting and say, hello, welcome all. And that will come flashing onto his screen, and that can literally upset his rhythm as such. All right. Use judges' ballot as prescribed by TMI. Communication during the contest. Ensure that all contestants and contest officials have the chief judge's information. Make sure the contest officials know who the chief judge is. Let them not send you a chat and ask who the chief judge is. Introduce the contestants as the contest official who the chief judge is. Only the chief judge. Create a timer chat containing both timers. Best I would say is let them have a WhatsApp group for themselves as a timer chat. All right. Ensure the timers have the chief judge's information for submitting timer sheets. Where to submit? Again, I would say WhatsApp's the best forum. Ensure that all judges have the information of the ballot counters to be able to submit their ballots. As I said, there are 6 judges. Make sure that one ballot counter knows who the 3 judges are and the 3 judges know who to send it to in a different messenger. All right. Create a ballot counting chat containing chief judge and ballot counters. Either you can do it in Zoom platform or wherever there is a breakout room, or you can have it outside in a WhatsApp chat or whichever chat you like to have it. Ensure the tie-breaking judge only has contact with the chief judge and remains anonymous all the time. Very important. Be prepared to create a protest chat containing chief judge and all voting judges. Should a protest be lodged, this could also be a breakout room in the online meeting platform you are using, but should only be accessed by the invitation from the meeting moderator. I would suggest that again, when you're having a protest chat, have it outside. Or if possible, if Zoom has a breakout room, you can go into the breakout room and discuss about the chat and then come out and give your decision. All right. This is one thing which I would like you all to follow. Expect online contests to take longer time. When I say the contest starts at 3 o'clock and ends at 6 o'clock, expect that it will go another 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Have that expectation, because online anything can go wrong. Right. Use an instant messaging service as a primary form of communication. Apart from your Zoom or your WebEx, have something else outside also as a primary source. All participants should change the display name of the meeting. The chief judge, contest chair, timers, and contestants should rename as role plus name. Like for example, contestant, say humor contestant, the name, say Chaitanya or Rajiv Nambiar. So make sure that humor contestant speaker for Rajiv. Like that, you need to place your name, rename your name. Kindly note, judges and ballot counters should remain anonymous. The ballot counter should not say XYZ ballot counter. Don't put that. Just let the name be there. That is all. Right. Contest chair and chief judge. Have backup contest officials, judges, ballot counters, in case contest officials lose connection partway through the contest. So when I say 5 minimum judges needed, make sure that you have at least 6 or 7 judges. In case one judge falls out also, you have the bare minimum which is required 5 judges. Likewise, tally counters, have them 2 or 3. In case somebody falls out, in case like question will come, there are 3 ballot counters and everybody falls out. Then the chief ballot counter is your chief judge. He will collect the ballots from the judges and wait for the ballot counters to re-log in inside. Okay. Determine the process for protests in advance and communicate this process with all who need to be aware. Who to file their protests, who to lodge their complaints or protests, whatever it is. So make sure that the process is spelled out in advance. When briefing judges, share things they need to keep in mind for an online contest. All right. Ballot, don't look at the timer or whatever it is. Judges' criteria remain the same. Judges should adhere to the items outlined in the judges' guide and ballot, but just as they would do in an in-person contest. In online or in person, the judges' ballot is the same. There is no change. Okay. Now, briefing judges and also briefing contestants. The judges are briefed by the chief judge and the contestants are briefed by the contest chair. When the contest chair is briefing the contestants, the chief judge can be attending the meeting as a supportive mechanism. In case something with the contest chair does something wrong or tells something wrong, the chief judge can step in and advise the contest chair that this is how it should be done. Okay. So please do, as a chief judge, please don't go and brief the contestants. It is the duty of the responsibility of the contest chair. Yeah. Should technology issues occur to a degree that hinders the contest, the chief judge can make the decision to stop the contest and resume when the issues are resolved. Okay. So please don't wield the iron sword. Give time in case there is an issue, stop it and restart it. But make sure that everybody is given the due and the contest is done fantastically. All right. Judges should not take into consideration a contestant's audio or video quality. If it's a good speech and he finds that the audio video is shaky, don't say, I'll give this guy particular lesser marks. Don't consider that. Now, if you have a contestant with disability, ensure you are aware of any accommodation that needs to be made for the contestant who have a disability. If a person is visually impaired, make sure that how the timing device is going to be conveyed to this particular contestant. So that has to come out. Okay. Don't wait for the last moment. Make sure that you find out who the contestants are and then do accordingly. All right. Set a standard speaking position for all contestants and communicate this to the judges and sergeant-at-arms. Now, I have got a lot of questions offline whether a contestant, if he sits and delivers a speech, will the judges mark him down? Whether the speaker stands and delivers, will they mark him up? However comfortable you are, whether your gestures are coming out well, whether you are comfortable in delivering your speeches, it depends on that particular contestant. But I would suggest if you can stand and deliver your speech, you will have better flow, better speaking prowess as a contestant. Right? So set a standard speaking position for all contestants. So that means stand in a particular place where your gestures are visible, your audio quality is also good. You don't go too far or too close. Stand maybe 3 meters away from the camera. This is the ideal position. Okay. Next one is meet with the timers in advance of the contest to agree on a method of communication for indicating when each minute of silence is concluded. That is between the contest chair, contest master and the timer. So ping the video of the timer in advance, whether it is a contestant or a contest official. Confirm the speech titles in advance of the contest. Make sure that the speech titles are confirmed well in advance. At that point of time, the contest master should not say, what is your contest title? I forgot. So make it confirm, speak to that particular person and confirm it. Ensure contestants know how to notify the contest chair if there is a speech title change. There again, you create a group for your contestants with the contest master. In case anything is there, they can place it there and you can read it immediately with your secondary device. Practice name and speech title pronunciation with contestants as necessary. Introduce each contestant at the appropriate time. It is the contestant's responsibility to show up for the contest in time. All right. If a contestant does not show up for the contest, allow a reasonable amount of time for them to begin. If they do not begin, introduce the next contestant. Now, for example, contestant number 3 is online. All right. And the contestant, 1 minute is over and the contest master announces the next contestant, Rajiv Nambiar. Speech title, Rajiv Nambiar. The camera is on and Rajiv Nambiar is missing for nearly a minute and plus. Give him at least 2 minutes. If he does not come online, go to the next contestant and don't give him a chance to come back online to speak. All right. This is clear dereliction, I would say. A contestant should always be visible and always be ready to give a speech. When he logs out by mistake, then you can call him back. But here is basically a negligence. So wait at least 1 or 2 minutes, keep calling him. If he doesn't come, go to the next contestant. Simple. After the contest chair introduce the contestant should enable their microphone and camera. They then say ready. Ready is a check. Ready, indicating that the equipment is working. All right. Now this does not count as the start of the time. The moment he comes onto the camera and he says ready, the timer should not hit the button. The time will start after the contest master introduces the contestant by name, by the title and name. And then if he says ready, you also ready, you start the timing device. All right. Contestants should attend the contestants briefing, test their technology, including audio and camera setup with the contest chair. Please do this. As a contestant, come and check your system with the contest chair before an hour before the contest. Don't come at the last moment and say like the in-person, I'm ready for contest. Things will go wrong. Once technology has been tested and the speaking area marked, it is recommended that the speaking area which is marked by you is not moved, or technology is not being moved. All right, or lighting or any markers until after the contest. If this is correct, if the contest chair says yes, I can see you in the 3/4 of you, your gestures are good, your voice quality is good, lighting is good, let it be as it is. Don't change it. For online speech contests, provide each contestant with an opportunity to practice with their equipment at the contestants briefing and work with them on any necessary adjustments. All right. Now the camera equipment should be at eye level. At eye level. If you can maintain it at eye level, it's fantastic. Don't go up and look down, or don't go too low and look up. Let it be at the eye level with the speaker if possible. Now I have my laptop. If you look at below the laptop, I have 5-6 notebooks there, which is elevated to an extent. I didn't find any more notebooks, so I could not lift it further up. So this was a maximum. My children might come and ask for notebooks now. Anyway, all right. They ensure the camera is mounted or secured to prevent movement during the speech. Don't keep it on a very flimsy platform. When as you're speaking, the thing goes like this, and then you run into adjust it, make it is perfect. All right. Avoid having someone hold the camera, as this can cause unwanted movements. Nobody should hold the camera. It should be always be mounted. Now, for the sake of online contests, consider looking at the webcam as an eye contact. Like you look at the webcam as an eye contact. Ensure contestants and judges are briefed on eye contact expectations. When the contestant is speaking, all other participants should mute their microphone and turn off their cameras except for the current speaker and the time, so that you get better bandwidth. All right. I'm having a bad throat, excuse me. Yeah. Now, when setting a standard speaking area for all contestants, ensure to maximize the view of the contestants without sacrificing audio quality. All right. So, for example, if you have a wireless, you should not go too far from your laptop, whereby the voice might break. So, I would suggest, for example, all contestants must stay within 3 feet of the camera. 3 feet is the best. You get a good coverage of yourself. If you're using a T-third like this, make sure that you don't go too far. You keep a little bit of leverage. So what happens is, a person like me who's speaking, who's become so emotional, I might go behind and pull the laptop along with me, and there's total confusion. So make sure that you have that little bit of buffer. All right. And the cord is long enough. Now, lighting tips: have the main source of light coming from behind the camera, all right, as it is coming for me, so as to eliminate the speaker's face and body. If relying on natural light, practice at the same time of the contest as will be held. Some people practice in natural light, but the contest will be at 6 o'clock in the evening, and they'll have an issue. All right. If relying on if the contestant's face is shadowed, have them fix a light in front of them and behind the camera. Ensure that no light source are pointed directly at the camera. For example, I have a light source like this. This is very annoying, isn't it? If you have something like this and you're doing a contest, it's a little annoying. So make sure that there is no light, even if it is behind, it is not directly behind the camera. All right. Contestants kindly do planned movements and gestures during the contest briefing to ensure that they will remain in the frame. So practice during the frame. Whether your hand is, now for example, my hand has gone beyond the frame, isn't it? So when you're going behind, you will have a nice flow of your hand. So practice well, mark yourself very well on stage. If you have a tape, make sure you mark it. Have contestants set up their technology in a space that reduces echo and background noise as much as possible. Don't go to the window where it is most favorable, but there's full of traffic going left, right, and center. Try to go in interiors and then make sure that the voice does not come. Test any microphone or audio options on the platform you will be using and select the one that allows for the clearest. If possible, try to use a mobile device as a, if possible, try not to use a mobile device. All right, keep it as a secondary device with a data backup. Make sure that you don't have your primary device and the secondary device on the same wireless. It does not serve the purpose. So have the primary device in a wireless and you have the mobile phone on your data. If a contestant will be using a mobile device as a primary source, this is very important. Please do check. Make sure that the timing device, that is the timing of the timer's card can be seen very well in a mobile device. You plan accordingly, you check accordingly. All right. So if a contestant will be using a mobile device, have them practice to ensure their device is set up to capture the best possible image and that they are able to see the timer. I would suggest here, as a contestant with my experience, I would say is when I start to speak, I always have my own timing device also. In case something goes wrong, I can't see the timer, then I have my timer also running accordingly. All right. So I would say is before your speech is starting, you start the timer. At least you get that 5 or 6 seconds buffer and you will always fall in place. All right. Maintain your own time because it's an online. When submitting the judges' guide and ballot, please ensure the judges has included a signature. They may take a photo of their signature, either enter it on the ballot. They may use a stylus on their device to sign the ballot. They may use a digital signature on a fillable version of the ballot. In case this is not possible, just write your name in both sides. All right. Let's look at the timing procedure. Timer 1 uses a stopwatch to time each speaker and is considered the official timekeeper of the contest. They report speech times on the timing record sheet. Timer 2 uses a stopwatch to time each speech in order to operate the signaling device. Okay. If either the signaling device or the stopwatch fails, what shall we do? We will give that extra 30 seconds over time before being disqualified, the contestant being disqualified. Now, if either timer loses connection partway through the contest, this also means the affected contestant receives an extra 30 seconds. So I would suggest timers, to make sure that you have not 2, have 3 timers. If all 3 timers fail, then too bad. At least you get one backup at least. Have 3 timers. Ensure timer 2 with signaling device is clearly visible to contestants all time. Ping their videos. Invite them to the contestant briefing to find a solution that works for all of the contestants. So communication is the key here. Their webcam shall be on the entire time so that they can provide timing cues to the contestants. So other contestants, other role players should off their videos so that only the speaker and the timer has the bandwidth so that it's, nothing goes wrong. Webcams of audience, kindly turn it off and microphones always muted. All right. Ensure that the meeting moderator is able to mute the attendees, like how Sai is doing, immediately goes and mutes everybody. Right. If you have a meeting chat turned on, set expectations, how you expect this to be used. For example, you may ask the audience members only to use chat to indicate technical issues, all that. So you set the parameters straight when you have a chat. Deliver awards at the end of the contest. Have the meeting moderators screen share certificates with winning contestant names entered. All right. And what else? You can either pause the contest and end the online meeting after the final contestant has spoken, then restart the meeting and reconvene when the results have been determined. Or you can conduct contestant interviews to fill in the time before the results have been determined by the chief judge. After the contest, ensure that all contest officials delete digital files that include information about scoring, contest results, or judging notes. And during evaluation contests, while conducting an evaluation contest, arrange a method for contestants to leave the meeting hall to an online location where they can be monitored until it is their turn to speak. Some online platforms, like for example, Zoom has a breakout room. In this instance, all contestants could be moved from the main meeting room to a breakout room. All right, you create that system where it is foolproof, that the contestant who has gone outside or in the breakout room is not able to listen to what the current contestant is saying. Make sure that you do that. Like you could set up an alternate meeting link for contestants to join. That is one. In either instance, you need a sergeant at arms present in the room and monitor the contestants and ensure that they know when to return. All right, so the sergeant at arms plays a big role here, who knows about technology a little. Right. Now, here it is. When contestants are invited back, they should enable their microphone and camera, then say ready for a evaluation contest, indicating that the equipment is working. This does not count as the start of their time, as I said earlier. Also, make sure that the contestants' hands are visible in the frame. Now, for example, I'm giving an evaluation where I have an electronic device. The evaluation should be done only with the help of that paper which they're using, not on electronic device. Why? Because sometimes what happens is you might get a person who has listened to a target speaker's speech, immediately types something and sends it to this guy and says, this is how the evaluation has to be done. He was just going to repeat that evaluation. That should not happen. All right, so make sure that electronic devices are not used. So both hands are visible at all times. So the last point, it sums it up. Nobody should have any advantage over anybody. That's important. Let's be fair. Let's be true to ourselves. Now the test speaker shall rename themselves as a test speaker. They must keep their camera off and audio muted until they are called on to deliver their speech by the contest master or contest chair. Contest master and contest chair, the synonyms to each other. So once he enters, let him just don't put his name, just put test speaker and keep quiet. When that particular contestant is or the test speaker is invited onto the stage, he will on the video, he will on his microphone, he will say, ready, test is, and then the contest master will introduce, test speaker is Toastmaster XYZ. If he has a title of the speech, and then the speaker evaluation speech contestant can start. So this is how we need to conduct an online speech contest. I know there are a lot of other areas which I have not touched upon, but this is the main crux. This is how online speech contests should be done. And since we are new babies to online speech contests, I think so we can take forward from here. And I'm also ready to answer your questions if you have any. And I'm sure you have loads to come. I'm ready for your questions.
DTM Rajiv, I think we are already running behind the time. So can you suggest how many minutes we can allocate for this question and answer?
I can take 2 or 3 questions immediately.
Okay, so 2 to 3 questions. We have time for 2 to 3 questions. Who has the first question? You can just quickly unmute and just shoot.
I had it up.
Yeah, your name and.
Yes, I am Neerav. I am from Fogo VIT Toastmasters. So my question is, in the evaluation contest, how much time should actually be given for the contestant to rejoin in case he or she drops from the call?
In an evaluation contest, what happens is till such time the contestant comes back online, the contest will be stopped.
I get it, but like in case it's taking more, I was thinking 5 minutes should be a good amount of time.
No, what happens is immediately you will have to connect with the secondary device or call that particular contestant and ask them what it is. What is the problem? If they say there is a power outage and it's not going to come, and that point of time we cannot wait for long. Right. We have to go with the next contestant, and that person will forfeit the chance to participate.
Okay. And also in this case, when the contestant is dropped, is he or she allowed to restart, or they have to
restart from the very beginning? They will start
from the very beginning. Okay.
Because they don't know from where they stopped, right? So they will start again.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Rajiv sir, this is Bharat here from CGH Chennai Toastmaster.
Yes, Bharat.
One question regarding evaluation contest. Usually, when it is a form, we used to collect that forms which is taken, like contestants will be using a form to note down the points.
Yes.
So SIA will be collecting the forms back, and then we will be asking them to get to the other room. Now this is going to be an online. How should we be able to collect the forms?
The forms will not be collected. What happens is everything happens in good faith. Now, for example, if this is a form, I have written my evaluation here.
Mm-hmm.
At that point of time, once you are in the breakout room, the form will be placed face down,
okay,
and that will, it will be kept away from you, and your hands will be visible to the sergeant-at-arms at all times.
Okay.
And when your chance comes to speak, at that point of time, you can pick up the form and move from the waiting room to the main room.
Okay, great. So we have to guide the SIA to
Yes.
have check.
In a nutshell, or to be very honest with you, the onus is on the contestant that they will do, they will do a fair job on that. I mean, they will not. The integrity is left to them.
Great. Yeah. Okay.
So we have time for one final question.
Yep.
Sir, Chandni here again.
Yes, Chandni.
So in case the contestant loses connection before he is called and he's not responding to the 2 minutes of leeway time that we were giving, is he or she allowed to speak as the last speaker?
That is for the humorous speech, it is allowed. See, the humorous speech, what happens is the moment a contestant logs off, he is taken out or he moves out of the hall, at that point of time, immediately the contest master will call for giving the 2 minutes of time for the next contestant to be prepared.
Right.
Okay. And in case in between that the main contestant comes inside, then also he will be allowed to speak only in the last.
Okay.
But in the evaluation contest, that will not be allowed. It will be allowed that particular contestant will have to come back, rejoin, and give the speech or his evaluation and continue the evaluation process.
Okay. If he doesn't join after a particular period, then he will not be.
Yes, you can. Basic thing is all technology. We speak to that person and ask them what it is. If they say, my, internet is gone, I'm not able to re-log in, that means that they cannot come in anymore.
Oh.
Call the next contestant inside.
Oh. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Right. Thank you so much, DTM Rajiv Nambiar, for the wonderful inputs on playing the role of chief judge and also managing online contests. And DTM Rajiv has got an important announcement for all of us. But before that, I would request you to please check your chat box. There's a link which is available. It will take 30 seconds for you to give a feedback on the session Rajiv Nambiar just now delivered. Just 30 seconds of your time, and then Rajiv has asked me to make that announcement. So I'll make that important announcement for you. So please go ahead, take 30 seconds of your time. And once if you are done, there is a feedback tool which is available. If you choose the participants, if you're using a laptop, you can see a S button. If you have done with the feedback, please quickly put on a S mark so that we can make that important announcement. And I'm sure you would have noted down the coordinates of DTM Rajiv Nambiar by this time. So the questions which you have can be directly addressed to him through his email or through his WhatsApp or the phone. So let me know once if you have done the feedback, please put a tick mark so that we will know that you have completed the feedback. It just takes 30 seconds. As you can see my name on the participants list. Thank you so much, Aditya. Keep them coming fast. Just 30 seconds.
Sai, I would like to interject and
sure.
My coordinates are available as I've shared it with you. Kindly send in your individual questions to me and I will answer it because I'm just looking at the chat box. I see so much of chat, so I'm totally confused. So please do. Like Abhinaya Ravichandran has asked if A and B are tied during the resolving the tie. So you please send that to my chat box and I will explain in detail to you. All right. Thank you so much for being so nice audiences. Back to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now the important announcement which Rajiv was asking me to make is we are going to take a break. We are going to take a pit stop, do a control alt del, have a cup of coffee, tea, take a bio break and come back. I'm not seeing many people choosing the tick mark. I assume that you have given your feedback. If not, please share your feedback. That is very important. The time as per my clock is 11:11 a.m. and let's be back at 11:21 a.m. sharp, and we will continue with our session. Next exciting session is coming up on judges training and the evaluation. We are also going to practice the applying our skills. So 11:11, let's be back exactly at 11:21 and take this further. When you're back, please again choose the yes mark so that we know that you're back. Thank you so much for your attention. Please do not log off. Just stay online, take a break and come back. Thank you.